Good morning. Random word generated today is responsibility. Responsibility. Peace. If there's one thing that I could say about responsibility, it would be to break up the word and then switch the prefix and suffix to best define this word. Responsibility, switched, is the ability to respond. And one can continually cultivate, strengthen, reinforce their ability to respond by taking a second, placing space between what just happened and themselves. Allow them to digest it, and then ask the question, or at least this question, or maybe one of a myriad of other questions. How would my future self respond to this? Sit with that, and then let intuition, the spirit, prompt you. And then follow on that prompting to respond. I feel that's a great way to cultivate your ability to respond, or your responsibility. Because oftentimes responsibility is attached to a role or a position that either you have taken on consciously or unconsciously. That's not the case. Responsibility, or the ability to respond, is happening always. Always, right now, I have responsibility. I am cultivating my ability to respond by, instead of just running right now, or listening to music, or distracting myself in one way, shape, or form, I'm choosing to walk and do my random word generator today, right now. And that came from, while I was on my run, asking myself the question, what would my future self want me to do right now? And letting that simmer and sit until something emerged, which was this idea: you could do another random word generator today. And then I acted on that prompting that I received. And I feel genuinely, deeply, knowingly feel that this is helping cultivate my ability to respond, which is, I'm having something happening right now to me, and I am consciously, deliberately separating myself from it, giving it space, and then allowing my, you could say, third eye, my observant self, my future self, my, you could say, a mediator, the mediator of me, take position and look at that, observe it, review it, and then have, I don't know what this is, but I would say that to articulate it would be the Holy Ghost. But it's something like an inner voice, a still small voice, intuition, the spirit, God, energy, the universe, works through you in interfacing and interacting with that space, the thing that's happening right now. And somehow there's like this benevolent, timeless thing that comes down and says, or is you, and says, this is what you should do. And then it's our job to then take our ability to respond and go, okay, I'm going to do that thing, and then do that thing, and let it all unravel. And so if there's one thing that I could say about responsibility, it's that responsibility is not specifically tied to a role or position. Responsibility is really, it's your ability to respond to the situation at hand. And the way I have found helps to cultivate and to build and to strengthen one's ability to respond, one's responsibility. That can be done in a role or a position or in a relationship with something or someone, but really just at any time, is have something happen to you, which is happening all the time. Consciously separate yourself from it, give it space. So if it happens here, it's easy for me, it's just to visualize it. It happens here, you separate yourself from it, and now you're seeing it, you're seeing this thing, and you're seeing like yourself, and then you're here. And you're just kind of allowing whatever you want to call it, I call it the Holy Ghost, to be able to help you grapple with this thing until some form of intuition or a prompting comes up, and then you act on that prompting. So something happens to you, you separate yourself, you observe it until you asking yourself some kind of like not loaded prompt, but it's a dynamic prompt, usually oftentimes in the form of an open-ended question. What would my future self want me to do right now? Wait until you get that feeling of like, oh, I should do this, and then do that thing, and have it be less about whatever the consequences or results emerge from it, and more about you are cultivating your responsibility, your ability to respond to the thing. And cultivating that meta skill is not only transferable because it can happen, that skill can be done anywhere, but what it does is it slowly ends up percolating and enhancing your overall responsibility, which brings indirect compounding benefits. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from my random word generated for today, responsibility, it's the idea that responsibility is the ability to respond. The way to cultivate it is to consciously separate yourself from something that happened to you, and then ask yourself an open-ended personal prompt, engineered in such a way like this. What would my future self want me to do with this? What would my future self do? Wait, ponder. And this is all happening in a split second. Ponder until you come up with an idea, and then act upon that prompting. Act upon that idea, and that helps strengthen your responsibility in general. Sometimes the result won't be good. Sometimes the byproducts won't be good. But it's more about building this faith and this understanding and deep knowledge that you have responsibility, that I have strong, versatile, interdimensional responsibility. And what will start to happen are these like compounding parabolic benefits that you could have never, ever futured or forecasted or prophesied that are happening. And it all happened thanks to your understanding and implementation of responsibility. Responsibility. Switched.